Just as in building a house, we need to have a good foundation in order to withstand the rain and wind over time. Yes, this is basic, yet even the most advanced company with a track record of years of improvement should never ignore this point. In fact, these advanced companies understand the importance of having a solid foundation better than others. Addressing this point, there are 3 sessions in this tape. In session 1, we will look for wastes in our factory and think of ways to eliminate them. In session 2, we will go back to the basics and study the importance of housekeeping and workplace organization. In session 3, we will see what we can do to meet the diversifying needs of customers in a short lead time. Unfortunately, there is too much waste in our work environment. While we talk incessantly about the difficulties of making money, we tend to ignore the waste that surrounds us and to overlook opportunities for improvement. While we may be busy in catching up with every day's urgent work, isn't it also very important to ask ourselves a fundamental question? Are we spending enough time to find out what's really happening on the shop floor? Elimination of waste starts where the action is taking place. As early as the 1920s, Henry Ford was concerned with the problem of waste and discussed it in his book Today and Tomorrow in the chapter titled Learning from Waste. To put it in simple terms, if it does not add value, it's waste. After studying Ford's book, people at Toyota learned what waste actually was and figured out what they could do about eliminating it. Many people say, of course we know we need to reduce waste. So what's new about that? But let's spend some time to see what's going on in our factories. At a major electronic manufacturer where printed circuit boards are assembled, let's take a look at some of the processes that add value to the product. Starting with receiving. Notice they transfer materials by either conveyor or by forklift. Receiving inspection follows, in a room where component preparation work is done also. Later, parts are stored in a stock room, and picked up and sorted according to their distinctive characteristics. Then, parts are taken to a stock room again, followed by an auto-insertion process where the parts are loaded onto the printed circuit boards. Next, hand loading of more electronic components takes place. The board goes through a wave soldering process. The reverse side of the board is clipped manually, and when final inspection is completed, we have a finished PC board assembly unit. Whether we make automobiles, TVs, cosmetics, or semiconductors, we need to ask how many of these activities are absolutely necessary for our production, or how many of these activities are adding value to the products rather than cost, or how many of these activities do the customer care about. As we study more, we'll find that there are many wastes in our factory. For example, when we get ahead of work, which is to produce more than required by the next process, there is waste. We call this waste from overproduction. When this happens, we have to pay money for unneeded work and unnecessary raw materials. Yet we accumulate more inventory, which in turn generates more material handling and inventory carrying costs. Furthermore, we lose track of priority of work and discipline may be lost. We even buy equipment because we do not know the true capacity of the machines. Since overproduction creates more problems and obscures the real cause of problems, this should be considered the worst waste in our factory. To avoid this, we should produce only the amount required by the next process at low cost, not too early or too late, just in time. While waste from overproduction is not easy to identify, waste of waiting time is easy to discern. When people wait for material to arrive or watch machine running, this waste is easily observed. In fact, it is even recommended to convert other wastes into waste of waiting so that corrective action can be taken immediately. Transportation waste and double or triple handling waste will be another kind of waste. Although some processing may be quite unnecessary and eliminated by improving the process or product. Inventory wastes are also very common, not only in the warehouse, but also on the conveyor or part storage area or in a truck. Since inventory covers problems of all different kinds, such as machine breakdown, quality defects, bad communication, inadequate schedules, and more, we should consider inventory and overproduction as a root of all evil. Since moving one's hands or working extremely hard does not add value to the product, customers do not necessarily want to pay for this wasted motion. Therefore, waste of motion must also be eliminated. Remember that move is not the same as work. Producing defects is clearly a waste, too. Furthermore, inspection itself may also be considered a waste. When we inspect something after the fact, it's too late. No matter how many years we inspect carefully, we won't be able to improve product quality. Therefore, we need to practice the concept of quality at the source. As we look very carefully at our factory, there are many more wastes we can find almost anywhere. Actually, we will find waste in the office as well. But instead of having a contest of blaming others, there's an important point we need to recognize. The power and purpose of waste elimination activities is to improve the company's competitive position and secure more jobs. Almost having gone through with filing bankruptcy in the 1940s, Toyota had learned that banks are not necessarily all that helpful in a crisis. What Toyota could do was to use their brains, not money, to figure out what they could do with what they already had. Instead of asking for financial or government help, gradually they addressed the core issue of their problems. That was for management and employees to work together to eliminate the waste that was abundant in a work environment. They found that the following 7 types of waste were most prominent. Waste from overproduction, which is one of the worst wastes since overproduction conceals other problems. Waste of waiting time, which includes lack of parts to work on and watching machines run. Transportation waste, such as long-distance transportation and double handling. Processing waste, such as unnecessary production processes. Inventory waste. Unnecessary inventory covers up problems and creates more. Waste motion. Work. Don't move. And waste from production defects, or make it right the first time. Toyota waste elimination activities are also practiced at Toyota Auto Body of California.
The basic philosophy is the total elimination of waste, which we depict with a little photograph showing a hunter killing a waste bird. When I say eliminate, I mean eliminate the waste operation that they were previously doing. The walking to receive parts as opposed to having them delivered. The elimination of picking up a part and putting it down, and then having to re-pick it up to reposition it. We've eliminated this by their help, not by management.
What I have seen so far sounds so simple, or should I say more or less like common sense. Is it usual to feel like this?
Yes, improvement is typically like that. We say that 90% of the improvement is made by people using their common sense. In fact, it's very satisfying to come up with new ideas for doing things better.
But practicing it may be difficult.
Yes, we need to have an environment where people can practice their common sense. Unfortunately, though, we tend to be busy doing urgent jobs and forget about making time for important jobs. If you spend time doing important jobs, you should be able to reduce the urgent jobs. Things are going to be more organized, so you can do things which you are supposed to be doing anyway.
I see.
What we must be careful of is that if you are doing urgent jobs or firefighting jobs, sometimes we tend to think that we are accomplishing a great deal.
But we may not have accomplished any fundamental improvement.
Exactly.
What about some of the basic principles for eliminating waste? Can you share some ideas on this?
Well, perhaps the easiest way to remember the principle is simplify, combine, and eliminate.
If our ability to identify or find waste is well developed, our commitment to improvement will come by addressing each specific waste identified. Of course, we are not accustomed to improvement activities for eliminating waste. It may take some time to get used to them. Also, it may require changing our mindset to be able to do them continuously and effectively. While we want improvement activities to become a way of life, let's for now review a few ideas on how to eliminate waste. The basic idea of improvement is simple. We should ask ourselves why many times when we find waste and think of ways to do our work easier, faster, cheaper, better, and safer. The basic approach for doing this is to simplify, combine, and eliminate. First, we try to eliminate any unnecessary work.
Some ideas that facilitate the work, make things easier. As you can see, if it wasn't for this paper, the calculator will be almost locked to the desk. This way he picks it up a little bit, it's a lot more visible. Before, we had the gun on the table. We did 1.5 parts per minute. It also was a very tiring operation for the operator because of the weight of the gun, picking it up and putting it back on the table. Now, with the help with one of our employees, we installed valves here on the table. We are available now to produce 2 parts per minute.
We can also simplify the work.
One of the first things that we had to do here was develop a cell in a U-shaped pattern, so the worker has all the tools right at his fingertips. The products are in the machines are bolted to the table so that you don't have to hunt for them. The fixtures are set up so that they can be operated pneumatically, so everything is as simple and direct as possible. Everything they need here is right at their fingertips. The cells can be brought in so that a worker does not have to get up out of his seat to get the parts. It works in a 2-box HOMBOX system so that if one box becomes empty, you have another box back that has the same parts in it.
Combining the work may help us a lot too.
We have a fixture that Bill is working on now. This fixture is one of the best fixtures we've got for our process because it entails 2 different processes. This fixture not only is used as an assembly fixture, the fingertip controls, but it is also used as a test fixture. So once it is through the assembly process, it gets tested right on the same machine. What that does is it takes out excess movement of the product. Instead of building up a unit, setting it aside, taking it over to a test station, and then testing it, it gets assembled here, it gets tested here, and then when it comes off the machine, it's completely done. That saves an awful lot of time.
Employee suggestion is a key to developing these ideas.
We have a little box that we encourage our employees to suggest any ideas or improvement that we can implement in our shop. As you can see, I get this box out. Some of the suggestions we got.
So I guess the point is that everybody can do this. Managers must have a great influence on the degree to which such improved activities are practiced, right?
I think if a manager has no experience in improvement activities on the shop floor, it's difficult to give guidance to the people on the shop floor. Only after managers have gone through the process of improvement and realize the significance of it, will he or she will start to grasp the true importance of these seemingly simple activities.
It seems as though in this country we pay little attention to these activities in the past.
Yes, in fact, I'd like to show you a comment I found in the book In Search of Excellence. It came from a GM worker laid off after working 16 years in the Pontiac division.
Here it is. It says, quote, "I guess I got laid off because I make poor quality cars. But in 16 years, not once was I ever asked for a suggestion as to how to do my job better. Not once."
I believe the situation now will be different from the day this book was written, but I still think we can learn a lot from the statement.
So you are saying that without the true support of people at the shop floor, there will be a limit to the improvement potential.
Exactly. In fact, I'd like to add an 8th waste to the 7 wastes we are to develop. That is the waste of not utilizing people's talent.
I have one more question. How can you keep on practicing this concept of waste elimination?
That's a very good question and a difficult one to answer. To put it as simple as I can, one needs to understand the general idea, then practice these ideas, and experience satisfaction of seeing tangible improvements incorporated into daily operations. Next, share progress, involve more people, and get accustomed to doing it on a daily basis.
So that waste elimination is an ongoing process.
Yes, as you practice, the more you develop the ability to tackle even difficult ones. For example, by applying this simple concept to eliminating waste in robotic movement, and by combining the work content, one automobile manufacturer freed up 5 robots out of 24 in one building line.
I see.
We want to continually improve. When I first heard that phrase, continual improvement, I thought that only meant something having to do with quality. But the more we understanding, reflect on that a little bit more, we find out that continual improvement means everything that we do, whether it's housekeeping, whether it's individually improving our knowledge levels, skill levels, plant operation. We've been working on 7 deadly wastes up here. Every one of those 7 deadly wastes, and we added one of our own, not utilizing the talents of your people, and that's number 8. Every one of those 8 items exist in the plant, and I can tell you we made improvements in every one of those 8 items. We've got a long way to go.
Housekeeping may be considered an unappealing topic to many people, but we should realize that housekeeping is closely tied to many important aspects of manufacturing. For example, we should understand the linkage between the level of housekeeping and the amount of scrap, number of machine breakdowns, safety, morale, and level of improvement. The fundamental question may be, do we care enough about housekeeping? For example, managers who pay no attention to trash scattered around the factory will influence people differently than those who pick up trash. Before thinking whose responsibility is it to clean up the floor, we should realize that housekeeping is everybody's job. If we have a messy factory, how can we imagine that quality products are going to be produced from such an environment? How can we imagine that the production schedule will be met without any delays? Would all machines function as required in such a factory? Would people be interested in their job and have a good attendance record? And how about safety? Housekeeping is a fundamental discipline and not necessarily an easy subject to tackle. Yet we circumvent this and use sophisticated machines such as robots or light. It is almost the same as building a house without foundation.
Right now I'm in the focus factory bathroom, and it's kept pretty clean. And I was wondering why we can't keep the shop very clean. We have a lot of oil spills, water spills. I would feel better if it was fixed and feel more proud of my work when you're working in a clean atmosphere.
At Canadian Tire Plant, for example, after spending $25,000 on new tiling, lights, sinks, and floor, the bathroom turned out to be a spotless area. Even after 5 years, the whole room has always been kept clean, in spite of the fact they work with carbon black in this factory. People's attitudes have improved dramatically, along with an improvement in quality, machine maintenance, and productivity. Plus, if we are creative, we may be able to fix such problems without spending any money. Housekeeping is not just cleaning tables, chairs, aisles, and bathrooms. We need to look at the machines, tools, and fixtures as well. The basic principle is to have those who are nearest to the situation practice the housekeeping.
So you think everyone should practice housekeeping?
Yes, since everyone is the potential source of poor housekeeping habits, we should all take responsibility.
Does that mean then that janitors are now unnecessary?
The role may have to change. If we take care of each area, we don't have to wait for a janitor because the area is kept clean. This is simply to prevent problems from happening at the source.
It sounds like you are asking people's roles to change as improvements are made.
As we improve, our role will change, or will have to change. Otherwise, we will be pulling behind the progress of our society. Anyway, since I talked so much about bathroom, a group in one company gave me this toilet bowl cleaner. You see my name scratched here?
Well, yes, I certainly do. Well, this is quite an honor. But what are the key approaches to good housekeeping?
You can focus your activities on such areas as one bathroom or one area at first, so that you see a vivid change. This will impress itself on people's minds and make them think about housekeeping. Or if manager is fully committed, you can start the plant-wide campaign.
In any case, we need to involve people.
Yes, we need to practice this not because an important person is coming, but because it has an important impact on business and of our personal pride.
Housekeeping is closely tied to better organization. The point is that floors and machines need not be cleaned for the sake of appearance. Clean surfaces expose problems, such as oil leaks and cracks, so that corrective action can be taken as early as possible. Similarly, in organizing dies or tools, it does not make much sense to nicely orient the dies or tool in a rack if the most frequently used dies are stored the furthest away from the machine. Housekeeping and workplace organization have an economic meaning. The following are suggested steps for workplace organization. Just as we take showers regularly, our factory should go through the steps of workplace organization every so often to keep the factory in its best condition. 1. Separate things that are necessary to use for work every day from those that are not. 2. Use disposal notice cards as appropriate to eliminate unnecessary goods from the factory. By looking at this card, people who can use these goods can claim them before disposal. 3. After removing unnecessary goods from the shop floor, the next step is to better organize the workplace. Motto is, of course, a place for everything and everything in its place. Some examples. Racks and storage areas are marked and positioned considering their use. Lines are clearly drawn to distinguish work areas from pathways. Names of the work areas, storage areas, parts, dies, tools, and the like are clearly displayed. Color coding is effectively used to convey the points easily, helping to ensure that everyone understands. Tools, fixtures, gauges, and bolts have their designated areas. Forklifts, die carts, and pallets have their designated areas. Raw materials, parts, in-process inventories, and finished goods have their designated areas. The idea here is that when something is misplaced and not properly done, such abnormalities should be immediately exposed to everyone's eyes to generate quick corrective action. This concept is called visual control, emphasizing the use of everyone's eyes in controlling our workplace. In order to practice and keep up the discipline of workplace organization, periodic review and education are necessary. An approach is to have people tour the plant, evaluating each zone of the department according to a predetermined set of criteria. Posting pictures of good and bad housekeeping practices for the shop with little comments and giving awards for good housekeeping may be effective ways to communicate the importance of housekeeping.
Department of the Month was one of the first things we did to try to clean up and organize the shop. It got some competition among the departments. They all wanted to have the cleanest areas, and that has just carried on over the last 4 years to give FMI a good appearance out in the shop with painted machines, nice looking floors that you can almost eat off of, and people are proud of their working area now. And it doesn't take a lot of time just to quickly clean up their area after work in maybe 5-10 minutes. And, you know, compared to having to scrape the floors up in the beginning, it would take days to clean it up, whereas just a little maintenance every day keeps it looking great. And people have pride in their workplace. They don't let scrap stay in one place for 5 minutes. They'll pick it right up, and I try to show that when I'm walking around picking up scrap whenever I can, and it just gives people a lot better image and self-image out their workplace.
And these pictures that we take them every month to see how our departments are going, and that helps to see which areas we need to concentrate more, as we can compare from one month to the other month as how many improvements we have done to improve those areas. We take pictures and show them to the post on the bulletin board so the employees can see them and they can see where they work in their areas, and so they can see if they can organize better.
We take pictures of our shop monthly to show. Our objective is to show some constructive criticism of good, bad things we do. This will prepare the people to see things that we cannot see when we are in the workstation. And by showing in pictures, sometimes we come up with different ideas from different departments.
A company called Inductive Heat in Detroit has a lot to tell about housekeeping workplace organization. The company produces a line of induction heating equipment.
And some of the improvements that we have made here in the way of house cleaning are mainly to make it easy for all the people to clean up, put all the materials that they need close at hand, and we allow 10 minutes or so at the end of each day for everyone to clean up. Cleaning up has been a big help to us because by having a clean floor, you can see excess material that's left laying around or anything that shouldn't be there as waste. We have built these mobile work tables which we can carry our tools right to the job site. These tables have several tools our assemblers would not normally supply, such as torch, vices, drill press, clamps, pipe wrenches, the welder. By bringing these to the job site, the individual doesn't have to carry parts away to a remote work center. This speeds up our assembly time. And each of our tools are color-coded with tables so they can be returned to the proper location at the end of the shift.
There are many other examples of such improvements at Inductive Heat. Before, all fasteners were kept in the stockroom. Since fasteners were ordered through a card system and the person looking at the cards didn't look at the rack, quite often fastener stock ran out. Now they are visually controlled by the floor leader. The yellow line and number on the floor helps organize work areas. Each individual has a specified numbered area that he or she is responsible for, and all tools and materials are kept in this area. Cleaning utensils are kept handy in each area also, and each is marked the number corresponding to the work area. In order to keep prints handy, there are dedicated print stands, which are stored out of the way when not being used. Rather than using lift truck, there are caster wheels and hand lifts that allow people to move heavy equipment around easily. With this simple improvement, the people doing the work don't have to waste time sitting around waiting for a lift truck to move something for them. Also, aisle space was then reduced, since caster wheels and hand lifts